I hope I'm audible. Um, okay, so hi, I'm Divya Singh, and I was awarded the SPACE118 Fine Art Grant in 2021. And for this grant, I worked on this project called Tell Mother I'm Home. And it started out as a photographic project, and it later branched into like other mediums such as painting and books and videos, posters, etc. So I'm not in my studio today because there's a lot of construction work happening in and around my studio. So but I'm at home in New Delhi, and a lot of my work is about this house, and this is where a lot of my earlier work comes from. So I think it's interesting for me to have this here. It's the beginning of a studio, first studio. So anyway, I'm going to show you a few of the things that I made for the grant. In total, I made around 5 books, and 2 of them are accordion books. 2 of them are chapbooks, and I made some posters, and then there's this one main photo book that I made, and yeah. So I'm just going to set this down and start showing you the books. So these are the chapbooks that I ended up making. I can tell you the details of the paper, etc., in the comments below if you want to know. But so there is B-sides, which is excerpts from like a lot of the authors that I was reading, and I compiled this um, as a thing that I would keep going back to. So a lot of the project ultimately became about like intimacy. So this project that I was working on, it was about healing and time, and so I wanted to make it as close to I wanted it to have intimacy. I wanted it to have a certain ambivalence as well. So I added everything that I really held dear into this book, and then there's this poem. There's a long poem in the form of this book called Jackals, and this was basically about losing an animal that one cares for. So that's that. And otherwise, I have this book. This is the main book, and I spent a lot of time like making this book, and I can show you a few of my favorite images like this, maybe, perhaps. I don't know if you can see, but the images of this book are already up on Instagram. Oh god, this is not visible. Wait 1 second. Stuff like this. Up next I have the accordion books. So the accordion books are like an afterthought, in which out of all the pictures that I took, and I mostly shot on instant film and film cameras, so all the images have like this out of focus softness, this milkiness. And so I took a lot of pictures of the sky, and it was a sequence of images that I worked on, and it was basically shot from morning till evening across both Delhi and Kochi, and it was about a person who constantly keeps looking up. So I made this book on a regular matte paper, and this is what it looks like. The other accordion book is And these don't have titles, so I mean, I wish I could tell you what they're called, but they don't have titles as yet. These are images from my studio. Actually, this is the door from the inside. I took these images in my studio and turned them into an accordion book. And last but not least, I have these posters that I made and the posters are experimenting. So for me, the grant period might have ended, but like for me, the project is still continuing in a way. So I'm still working on test prints and like making posters and like seeing what I can do and where the image carries forward. Like there's a lot of morphing that's happening, and a lot of the images have also turned into paintings. So it's very interesting for me to see how these things are shaping up on their own, and I'm just kind of following wherever it's leading me. So yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to follow me or ask me right now. Yeah, because I am I think done with the presentation. If you want to know about the papers that I've used, etc., I'm more quite happy to let you know about papers and sizes. If there are any questions, you can ask me now, or you could text me. I think I gave the presentation a bit too quickly. What paper size did you use for the accordion? The accordion book actually shaped up on its own because I used, so for the larger book I have 6 images, and for the smaller book I have 8 images. So I had a lot of different kinds of test prints, and what I have right now is still like this is maybe 2 by 1 inch, and this one is around the same size as my main book. And I wanted some consistency with the sizes, so like I've kept it all quite small because again it was about, I feel closer to smaller objects, smaller books, so I deliberately kept it under 10 inches, but I mean I tried to. So yeah. Anirudh is, no wait, Sarmishta is asking a question. Your work seems so poetic. Yes, I do, Sarmishta, I do. Yeah, all of my work comes from my own experiences and how I perceive time through them. So thank you for your question. Anirudh is asking, how do I view time in my work? So a lot of my work has to do with literature and cinema and how they come together in my mind. So I've always insisted on maintaining the fidelity of the thoughts that occur in my mind, and I try to put them out in that sequence. So I have a lot of these sequences in my mind, and I've got these they've turned into archives, they've turned into a library of their own. And so when you read books, when you watch films, and when you really resonate with something, it stays with you. And there's this concept of the punctum, and so a punctum is basically something that really touches you in time. It's like a puncture in time, and you remember it like that. And so every time, um, every time that something really resonates, it logs itself into that continuity of thought. And in that sense, like, I have a very non-linear understanding of time, but it's also it's quite flat as well, how I perceive time, in the sense that it's a bit expanded, like past, present, and future kind of merge. And so, I mean, I hope I'm making sense right now. Yeah, but yeah, movies and literature are very important to me. When I print, do you explore offset or digital? Mostly I've been working with digital, but I'm going to start working with offset because it makes a lot more sense. It makes a lot more sense, and it's also quite fascinating, I feel. Okay, so I guess if there are no more questions, I would like to introduce the next person to speak. Um, the next person is our fellow grantee, and her name is Neha Kachitkar. And I hope you all have a great day. Thank you for listening.